Congratulations to everyone who has got a Visa Dropbox appointment. Now that you have a Visa Dropbox appointment, let's see how do you want to get yourself ready for the actual Dropbox. For those who haven't got your Visa Dropbox yet, don't worry, I have a good news for you. Let's get into the video. If you have got your Dropbox in the meantime, congratulations, and so give yourself a pat on the back because you deserve it. If you are still trying to get a Dropbox appointment, you can watch my previous video for some assistance. I have shared the link in the description. This is the good news for anyone who haven't received the Dropbox yet. And if you are thinking that, hey, my dates are getting closer, will I go for a Dropbox appointment or should I get a visa interview? So this is the news for you. So the Dropbox eligibility has been extended till the end of 2022. So for almost most of the types of visa. So when it comes to H1B or L1, yes, you are in. So the first thing is like you have to get the visa stamped in your own country. So there are people who have got stamped from Canada or Mexico. So that means you will not be eligible for a Visa Dropbox appointment. You have got your previous visa from your own country. So that's one criteria. Then the second criteria is like the visa should have never been refused to you. So that's another criteria. Basically, this is pretty much a standard. So then for the first timers, so whoever is applying for the first time, I don't think you can escape the visa stamping by going on a Dropbox. You might pay a visit to the consular to get yourself get yourself a visa. Then the last thing, I'm not aware of this option, like there is a electronic system for travel authorization. So if somebody who has received your visa using electronic form, I don't think you are eligible for a Dropbox. Maybe you can try for the electronics option again, or you have to go for an in-person interview. So all this information is there in this travel.state.gov website, and I have given the exact link. So you can use this link from the description. Directly go to this page and read. Most of the visa are eligible for this Dropbox. So I think that should help. That should really help. Let's get into the document checklist of H1 and L1. I'll be covering the documents of the dependents in the next slide. So let's get started. So the first and the foremost document that you might need is the DS-160. You carry 2 copies of DS-160 per person. You don't have to take a color copy. You can take the black and white, but take 2 copies per person just in case. So then the next document is going to be appointment confirmation page. So as soon as you got your scheduled appointment, they would have sent it in an email. Also you can download it from the page, like confirmation page. So you can you have 2 copies of the appointment confirmation page per person. So that means like if you're going as a family, if you're taking the documents of your family, have the appointment confirmation page for each one, like for each one 2 copies. They might need, they might ask you for only 1 copy, but just in case, have 2 copies for each person. Then the third document is your passport. So take your original passport because that's the document on which they're gonna give you the visa. So have your original passport. But for passport, I have a few more things. So you have to take your current passport and your previous passport with US visa stamping. So let's say you have multiple passports, but you have whatever passport on which you have a visa, US visa, it's a must. So I'll say like try to have all your passports with you. So when they ask you for the passport, so try to provide the passport with US visa stamped. Then one of the most important document is your I-797. So you need to have all your I-797s, meaning starting from your last stamped I-797 till your current 797 and everything in between. So what I would say is like take your passport and see what visa that you have, for which you might have a corresponding size 797. Take that 797. Then think of all your other 797s. For example, like let's say you changed your company in between, but you did not even get it stamped, and you have changed your company again. carry both your 797s. If you have more than two or multiple 797s, carry all the documents. The last but not the least, the recent photograph. So there are certain things that you need to take care for the photograph, because there are times when they might ask you to go retake the photograph. So the size should be 2 by 2. Then the photograph should have a white background, and it should not be older than 6 months. And the last one is, like, you shouldn't have used that photograph for any other purpose. So let's say you traveled to a different country and you had that photograph and you used that for a different visa. Don't use that. So take a fresh photograph and go for the photograph. So there are a few other criteria, like I said before, like they might there are a few more specifications for these photographs and criteria that you need to fulfill for them to accept your photographs. So I have given the link here as well as in the description. So go read through it to make sure that your photographs are good enough for them to accept your photographs. So these days for Dropbox, they won't take your photographs. In-person interviews, they used to take photographs, so you don't have to carry your photograph. For Dropbox, you need to carry your own photograph so that they'll use that in the visa. Let's move on with the next set of documents for the dependents. So as a dependent, you need to have all the documents that I mentioned for the primary applicant, along with a few more documents. So if you are a spouse of a H1 dependent, you need to carry the marriage certificate. That's an additional document which is not given in the DS confirmation page, but they are asking for it. So make sure that you have the marriage certificate along with you. If you're carrying your kid's passport for stamping, have your passport, complete passport. So they might be looking for your last stamped visas and your biographic information. So have it handy. Like, who should go for the Dropbox? So everyone might ask, hey, I have a family, like should I take everyone? So it's not necessary. So that's what I'm going to explain in this slide. So anyone can go for this Dropbox and submit your documents. It's not necessary you have to carry your documents. Anyone can carry. So but only one person is allowed for the whole family or for an appointment. So that means, like if you are going, or if the primary applicant is going, if the secondary applicant is going, or if you're sending any of the authorized person, but you only one person can go. You can also send an authorized person to submit your documents and also collect your documents. Now that you are at the you have scheduled your appointment, you have reached your visa application center, and there might be reasons. There are few reasons for which they'll ask you to they'll send you back. So I just wanted to give you some kind of pointers so that you can be sure that you are taking care of this, so that you are not being sent back. So the one of the very common reasons is your name. So the way in which you have written your name in your passport and your DS-160 should exactly match. So there are times people might be using their jumbling between their middle names and all those things. Don't overthink it. Just try to match your passport. That's all. Then another one of the confusing part is, like in DS-160 there is a section on which they will be asking for the visa type for which you are applying. I think it will not be H1B, exactly straightforward H1B. So you might commit a mistake there. Make sure that you're having the right visa type there. So I would also recommend you finish your DS-160, send it to your attorney for review, just in case if they have to fix anything. For example, who is sponsoring the visa, those kind of questions, you might end up doing something wrong. So always have a review of your DS-160 before submitting it. Then the last one is the photograph. So like I mentioned earlier, make sure you have a very good photograph so that they are not rejecting it. You can't wear a smartwatch, so don't wear your smartwatch for this interview. Then you can take your mobile phone, but you have to switch it off. But I think that should be okay. And you are allowed to take your wallet, so that's also fine. How and when I will get the passport? So now that you have submitted your documents, you have come back home, or you wanted to plan how you want to receive your passports. All the embassy or the consulates, they will notify you as soon as the passports are stamped and available for your pickup. So if you are collecting from an embassy, you don't have to pay anything. You just can, once you get the notifications, you take the confirmation email and go and collect your document. So it's going to be free. So then the second option is you can deliver it to your home or your any other closest locations, authorized locations. So they will charge you 650 rupees. So even though if you are giving as a family, they are going to separate all your passports and send it as a separate package. So they are going to cost you for each passport 650 rupees. So when will I get the passports? So I have heard that Chennai is taking little time. They are taking from 2 to 3 weeks. But all the other locations, they are sending it within 1 or 2 weeks. So for I went to Kolkata and I received the passport in 10 days. I would like to share a few more tips that might come really handy when you're going for the Dropbox. If you're going for a new location, reach the Visa Application Center at least couple of hours before and get yourself familiarized with the locality. You might have to look for 3 places. A studio for taking photograph, and an internet center if you are not carrying your laptop, and a photocopy center if you are carrying your laptop. So there are times where which you might have to make some modifications to your DS160, or sometimes they might even reject your photograph. So in that scenarios, if you are familiar with these places, you can go get it modified or take a new photograph and come back in time and get your document submitted for the Visa Dropbox appointment. Otherwise, you might have to reschedule and come for the appointment again. Being said that getting a Dropbox appointment is a nightmare, you don't want to do that. I am familiar with the location Chennai and Kolkata. Chennai is my base location. Kolkata is the last place where I went for my Dropbox. So if you have any questions related to these locations, you can leave me a comment. I'll try to respond to your questions as soon as possible. Thank you.